Hey, Greece Olympia, COS 133. It's Professor Burke coming to you on this Monday. And I want to, first of all, congratulate you on making it this far in the course. You guys have done a phenomenal job balancing your schoolwork for high school plus this course. You really have done an awesome job. So, congratulations on that. So today I'm going to be going over our last module, your last project for this class. It's hard to believe we're at that point, but we are. So let's take a look. If we go to our course, Module 11 is our last module. So if you click on there, you will find, when it opens up, you will find some tips and directions, and then you'll find the information sheet attached here for the final project and a course completion survey. So please do the course completion survey as well. We really, as you know, we take your feedback really seriously, and we try to implement things, suggestions that you have and feedback that you have. So please do that. Once you complete your final project, you're going to be submitting it here. You'll click on the red link and you'll submit it through the regular submission. But let's take a look at the information sheet about the project. Okay, so this, your final project, which is due Sunday, May 16th, is a career, academic, and financial plan. So this is your opportunity to reflect on what you've learned in those areas from this course, okay? And so the format can take any format you want. Typical formats, students have done it as a Word document, Google Docs. Some students have done PowerPoint presentations, but you want to be careful if you choose to do a PowerPoint presentation. There's a lot of information that has to be covered, so you may want to do it in multiple slots of slides, okay? So you don't have too much information on one slide. And then the last part of this project is an essay, summary reflection essay about what you learned in the class. So if you choose to do PowerPoint, I would probably want you to submit that essay sort of separately in addition to the PowerPoint. Because doing a large essay on PowerPoint really isn't conducive for reading it, frankly. So just keep that in mind. The important thing about the format is, as always, as you know, I like things to be thorough. So answering all the questions that are on the sheet, and we're going to go over those. And so lots of examples, elaborate on your answers. And then also I would say, showing your personality. You could use quotes that have motivated you or you found helpful, pictures, things that you think represent you and what you've learned from this course. So be as creative as possible. And again, the due date is Sunday, May 16th. And that's a pretty firm deadline because the course will shut down after that. So you will not be able to submit documents after Sunday, May 16th. That's why I'm asking you to start this project now, so that you're submitting it way ahead of May 16th. That would be my suggestion. So let's look at the nuts and bolts of this project. So part one is developing and talking about your future career plan. I realize you were in ninth grade, so there's a lot of time to kind of build this up, but this is the perfect time to be talking about this. And after your presentation, some of us had really good conversations about future college majors, future careers. So I think it's awesome that you guys are thinking about this. You really have a jump start on some of your peers. So what you're going to do is you're going to talk about the day in the life of that possible career you're thinking about. So if it's a physical therapist, if it's a teacher, what is a day in the life of that person? And you could find this information by going back to Career Coach. Remember, we looked at Career Coach in Module 4. You could also go to there's a great site called My Next Move, and you could get an idea of what's a day in the life of a particular occupation. And again, this should be probably 3 to 5 paragraphs. So if you were to do this on something like PowerPoint, you definitely would need multiple slides to cover a day in the life of. What's the employment outlook for this career field? What's the average salary? What kind of education and training will you need? What skills do you plan to acquire or enhance in order to be successful in this field? And then in each area, you're going to be creating 3 goals related to you achieving your career plan, 3 action steps in order to achieve those goals, and 3 resources you plan to utilize to achieve your career goals. So I'll give you sort of an example. So if you want to become a teacher, let's say, so that would be one of your career goals. I wish to become, an elementary school teacher. That could be one of your goals. It would be to get as high a possible grades in your high school classes. It may be looking to volunteer in the community. Maybe it's working at a day camp in the summer, working with children, starting now to be getting experience. That would be a great thing. So those could be action steps towards achieving your goal. That you want to finish as many credits at MCC as possible, and then you may want to say that let's just suppose you want to go to Brockport for teacher education. That would be another goal, and those action steps could be related to that, right? So keep that in mind. Those are the kinds of things I'm looking for, and then the resources that you would use is maybe getting tutoring, maybe shadowing a teacher in the elementary school, asking if you could do that. So those are some of the things that you'd want to do. Okay, so that's an example. You're going to follow that format in each of these areas. Now, part 2 is creating a academic success plan. So what major are you thinking about right now when you get to a 4-year school? What GPA are you hoping to maintain in college? I always tell students to try to shoot for a 3.0, which is a B average. In the next few years in high school, what courses will be the most challenging? What about some of the courses that you're going to be taking through MCC? Which ones of those did you find challenging? Some of this information you've already covered in an assignment for this class, so feel free to use some of that same information, okay? What plan do you have to overcome your challenges, and what do you need to do to be a successful student? Again, from what you've learned from this class. What academic strategies from this class are you planning to use moving forward? Describe at least 3, and you'll see this again in the final essay for this. And again, you'll see that create 3 goals related to your academic success plan, 3 action steps related to that, and what resources will you use? And then your financial plan. So we're covering, in some of our chapters, we've been covering personal and financial responsibility. So you're going to go back and look at that and see what you wrote down for how much will it cost you to get your 4-year degree. And then based on your plan, what is the approximate cost of getting either an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, depending on what you want to do. So you may have to go back out and research some of those colleges and give a good estimate of how much it's going to cost. Discuss 3 tips on budgeting you hope to implement in your life, and you could get those from the textbook or outside resources. It's totally up to you. And what can you do now in the 9th grade to develop healthy financial habits? Some of you may be starting to think about working and getting part-time jobs, either for the summer or future. What's some things you could do now in your stage in life to start creating healthy habits around spending and around saving? And again, 3 goals related to having a healthy financial plan, 3 action steps, and 3 resources you plan to use. And then this is the big part at the end. I want you to do a reflection, probably like 200 to 500 words. So that's at least a page or 2. I'd like to see 2, double-spaced, 12-point font. I'm not going to be picky about that, but that'll at least show you what I'm looking for. And the most important part is reflecting on what you've learned. You should include at least 4 to 5 topics or activities from this course that you feel you benefited from and how you plan to use these moving forward as a student. What has it been like taking this course? Have you changed from when you first took the course to now? What has changed for you, and what will you implement moving forward? So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea on that. And then the other thing I wanted to show you, let me see if I can pull that up, is an example of what a student did in another semester. Now, some of this stuff is different. She did this in Word. She added some pictures, which were kind of cool. She added a table of contents, which I thought was just awesome. You don't have to do that, but I thought that was really awesome. And then she did an introduction, kind of talking about herself. She did her career plan. She talked about a day in the life of, and where she got this plan, I think, was from the New York Federal Department of Labor page. She looked at U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and found the career outlook, the average salary, education and training that was needed. Again, some of the things we talked about. I love how she did this. She did 3 goals related to her career plan, okay, and then 3 action steps to achieve her goals. And then what resources did she plan to use? So she really kind of made that a consistent area in hers. And this was her academic plan. And you can kind of see what she did with that same kind of format. Her financial plan, she answered all the questions. and then at the end, she did a conclusion and her key takeaways from the course. So she added a little bit of photos. It had this professional kind of feel to it. So I want you to think about how do you want to represent yourself and what you've learned from this class in your final project. And again, it could take any format as long as you're really thorough about the about answering all the questions. So let me know if you have any questions. Have a good week this week, and I'll be checking in to make sure you guys are doing well. So take care.